Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Happy Rock, and guests, anyone that may be joining us for the first time or the first time in a while. Welcome this morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Hey.
We're excited that you guys are here with us today. It's going to be a great day.
Yes.
Hey. Great service.
We are starting a brand new series today, Summer at Happy Rock. Okay,
Yep.
It's going to be going on for a few weeks.
I think it's like 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah.
It's our annual thing that we do every summer.
Yeah, a number of weeks, and we are going to get right down to one of the longest standing debates you have ever heard of in your life. That's debatable. It's probably not really true. But which would you rather have? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Are you a shaved ice kind of guy or girl? Or are you an ice cream kind of guy or girl?
For your summer treat, would you rather have shaved ice or ice cream?
Which one would you pick? Personally, I would pick ice cream. I like vanilla because it's like a blank canvas. You can stick anything in there and it just makes it better.
Anything
you
in
can
there?
put bacon in ice cream and it tastes better. We've even had some barbecue ice cream before and it doesn't sound like it would be that good.
It was actually really good.
It was delicious because it's so good. I would pick that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could put anything in ice cream and it would taste good. You know, there's some things I could think about right now that probably wouldn't taste very good. But I love shaved ice. I would have shaved ice more because it's a refreshing thing. I feel like when I eat ice cream in the summertime or anytime really, it just feels so heavy and you can't eat that much of it. But with shaved ice, you can just keep piling it in and piling it in. You can do all these different flavors and combinations, and it kind of makes me feel, tropical.
Yeah. So what is yours? What would you pick?
Let us know.
Put it down there.
Yeah.
But we are just about to take a few minutes and sing some songs to God. Just show God some love a little bit through music and singing. That's what we call worship. And so the best way that we found to do it, to be giving some energy, putting out some energy for it, is the best way is to stand up. The words will be on the screen for you. So just sing this to God from your heart. Make these songs your perspective to God, and just love on Him a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
Taking over me with a love that never satisfies like you. lost and hopeless. Our lives you changed, our lives you changed. Through the darkness, in our weakness, you made a way, you made a way. Yes, you did, God. And oh, we praise you. None that satisfies like you do. You never change, you won't. You never fail, you won't. You're irresistible, you're irresistible. Lord, we praise you. None that satisfies like you do. You never change, you won't. You never fail, you won't. You're irresistible, you're irresistible. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now. He won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh, yes, I Come on and sing, I count on one thing. I count on one thing. And the same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late, He's working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh, yes, I will for all my days. Oh, yes, I will. I choose to praise, to glorify, glorify the name of all names. That nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify, glorify the name of all names. Yeah, that nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify, glorify the name of all names. That nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify, glorify the name of all names. That nothing can stand against. Oh, yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy all my days. Oh, yes, I will, and for all my days. Oh, yes, I will, for all my days. Oh, yes, I will.
All right, we are back now. You've just had some time to worship, and it's always such a good time. It's always enjoyable for me, anyhow. When you just get your perspective about God right, it just lifts the weight on your shoulders and makes things feel a lot lighter. And so if you're someone that you just feel you're still feeling heavy, when we're through at church today, go listen to some more worship songs that you know the words to or that you can see the words to, and just get those perspectives in you because it helps so, so, so much.
It does.
But now we're going to take just a couple seconds and we're going to take some time to greet each other. So there's going to be a slide that comes up on the screen for 15 or 20 seconds to just give you some things to say hi, hola, whatever you want to say. Greet somebody today. All right, so one quick thing before we get into the message today. If you did not know, Father's Day is next week.
Yes.
Right? Father's Day is next week. It's our next service. We are not going to be meeting necessarily in person, but you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk about 3 attributes of fathers. We're going to do a giveaway.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
It is.
Have fun. We'll make it fun. We just got out of Make It Fun, so we got to do some things to make it fun.
Yeah.
So, but here's the tip. Here's the trick. We're not going to tell you what we're giving away. So you got to show up. You got to be there online with us.
It's going to be manly, though.
If you want to know, it's going to be man-filled. Okay, manly stuff, and so you're not gonna want to miss it.
Yeah, and even though all the holidays this year with Easter and Mother's Day and now Father's Day has looked a lot different, even 4th of July is going to look different for all of us. It doesn't mean that you still can't get together with some family and friends and in a safe way and still celebrate. There's still so many things to celebrate. And still so much joy that can be found in these times. And so, especially our dads, they really need to be honored. I feel like a lot of honor goes to our moms, and we appreciate that, but we don't want to leave our dads out. So make sure that we, meet back here next Sunday at 10 o'clock, and that way we can celebrate our dads. But Summer at Happy Rock, can you believe it's here? I cannot believe this. Summer at Happy Rock is my favorite series. Number one, because it's summer, and we do some fun things along the way. We have on June 26th, let me make a little plug for our HR kids.
Plug it.
June 26th, here in the parking lot at the church at 5 o'clock. Starting at 5 o'clock from 5 to 6:30, we are going to have a drive-through movie bundle giveaway.
Boom.
Yes, so basically what you do is you come into the parking lot and you come over to the pop-up tent that you see. So drive in the parking lot, come over to the pop-up tent, roll down your little window, and we will safely give you a movie bundle for you and your family to enjoy.
Yeah.
It is going to be awesome, okay? So it's that easy. That's it. We just
Easy.
want to give you some awesome things for you and your family to enjoy, so make sure you do that. But fun things in summer. It has to be fun. We just got to make it fun. And then Summer at Happy Rock, it was just like meant to be.
Meant to be.
So we're in a new normal, obviously. And it's no secret. And the greatest thing about the Summer at Happy Rock series is it's a series that doesn't focus on just one thing. It's just like a plethora of subjects and topics that we talk about and things like that. And so we wanted to focus this morning on the fact that a lot of things are different. We know this. It can be hard to deal with at times. Many of us have been struggling with change. Our kids have been struggling with change. Adults have been struggling with change, especially big changes that have been going on. And as followers of Jesus, we have a goal to achieve during these types of times. We really do. 1 Thessalonians, remember, we look back on the Old Testament for historical value. We look back at it as seeing the character of God, what people went through at that time to kind of just relate to what we're going through as well. And so we're going to look at 1 Thessalonians 5:23 this morning. And this verse says that now may the God of peace himself sanctify you through and through. That is, separate you from profane and vulgar things, make you pure and whole and undamaged, consecrated to him, set apart for his purpose, and may your spirit and soul and body be kept complete and be found blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Well, see, when things get tough, when we need to tend to lighten up, and we talked about that last week with our last Make It Fun, that we need to lighten up, that we ourselves need to kind of just take a deep breath, lighten up a bit. You know when you're getting tense.
Mm-hmm.
You know when situations are getting tense. You know, especially during this time, a lot of things have been tense. A lot of relationships have been tense. It's been hard. We haven't been able to do the normal things that we want to do. And Ben and I were just talking about yesterday how sometimes we just want to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
sometimes we
It's true.
want to be selfish. Sometimes we want to just be like, you know what? Forget all these rules. Forget all this stuff. I want to do what I want to do. But, you know, sometimes we excuse bad choices
Yes, we do.
because times are tough.
It's easy to do.
It's true, it is. And we make this excuse of, well, it's been really tough for me. It's been, you know, hard on my job. It's been hard. And we excuse our bad choices and we excuse the things that we fall back into. And we can't do that. We have to continue on. We have to continue to grow. Obviously, at churches, when we get back into in-person, we want to grow numerically. But if you're not growing spiritually, then what is the church? Why are we doing what we do? And we have to continue on. A lot of this right now has been a huge mental game.
Yeah.
It has been a really big mental game. And the enemy wants to win and for you to lose. And remember, the enemy plays the most in your mind. That's his playground. That's where he wants to put the root thoughts of doubt and despair and fear and anxiety and those things. And we have to continue on, just like this verse says, that we are set apart for God's purpose, and we have to do that. So we're going to talk about being emotionally solid in this new normal today.
Yeah, and when Pastor Heather mentioned the Old Testament and the value that it has, the New Testament speaks directly to us as followers of Jesus. The verse that we just read is speaking directly to us, and so those are the things that Jesus, God, they work hand in hand together to be the God that we serve, and the Holy Spirit as well.
Yeah.
But those are the things they want for us, but we don't always experience those things.
Yeah.
Right, and so things tend to happen to us. We respond in a certain way when big changes happen or big things happen that we were not expecting. And so we're going to go through 3 things real quick that we go through, and then we'll get further into developing some emotional stability through this. But the first thing is we experience shock. Have you ever had news come and you don't know what to say, you don't know how to respond, you just go, wow, I just can't believe this. I can't believe it. Well, that's to a degree shock, but medically speaking, shock is this. Its symptoms can include cold, sweaty skin, like, clammy, a weak but rapid pulse, irritability, irregular breathing, dizziness, a lot of sweating, right? Some of us have that
sweating
naturally.
right now. I'm not in shock, but I'm sweating.
Some of us just have that.
It's just hot.
You're probably not in shock if that's just what you are regularly, right? But fatigue and anxiety and confusion and nausea, those, like medically speaking, there's a condition called shock. We can experience, when something happens that's kind of big and unforeseen, we can experience the same feelings of shock. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. We get anxious, we get all these things. And here's the problem. When we become shocked and we stop thinking in terms of being in control, full control of our minds and clearly, we can become a version of being impaired, so to speak. Not necessarily to the same degree physically as being intoxicated or on drugs of some kind, but you can be impaired. You won't make decisions the same way that you would make them if you were fully in your right mind, right? And so we can experience shock. A second thing is we can feel sorrow. We feel sorrow. A natural response is sorrow to something that just seems so overwhelming and negative that we get sad. We start to feel sorrowful about it, and if we leave this alone, it can really just worsen into a depression. And nobody wants. I don't want that for you. You shouldn't want that for yourself either. And so, Heather, what's the third thing?
Well, the third thing is we begin to struggle, and it's kind of crazy all the stuff that we're going through right now, not just with COVID-19, but with everything that with the riots and with the protesting and things like that. It really has become all those things. Like we watching what is happening on the news, it's kind of a shock factor. And then it's sorrowful in our hearts because our hearts go out to the police officers, our hearts go out to the people, and then begin to struggle with how we view things and how we deal with it. And they're struggling as well. They felt shock and all at first. Then they felt sorrow and now they're struggling. And if you're working through shock and feeling sorrow, struggle, isn't too far behind. It's true. You'll experience these things and struggle with people closest to us. Sometimes we struggle with our faith. Many of us have been struggling with our faith right now. What God, what are you doing? God, why haven't you healed our land? Why aren't you stepping in? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? We struggle with God, and And we have to learn to be emotionally solid. And when we fix, you know, a lot of things before they become an issue, that's what we have to do. We have to start recognizing those things before they become a really big, deep-seated issue in our life. Because when something's deep-seated, it's harder to pull up and get rid of. It's like those roots, you know, for trees. We went on a hike not too long ago, and we saw this huge tree that had just fallen over, and all the dirt and roots were up. And I just thought in my mind, like, seeing all the roots coming out, I'm like, how did that fall over? But it's like, if you tried to pull that tree up, like, there's just no way. Obviously, we're not strong enough. But I'm just saying, even with machines, like, when something is deeply rooted, it's hard to get that out. And and living God's way can seem counterintuitive and feel weird at times. You know, it's a struggle too. People that just don't have God, they're not the only ones that struggle. You know, we struggle as well. It's just different, but it leads to a better version of ourselves. And that's what the goal is to be better, is to love better, and to show people God's love. And Jesus knew that we would need an explanation. Why live his way? Why? And Matthew I love reading the book of Matthew, because just the way that Matthew, he talked about things, the way he described things was just so, you know, like you said, with the New Testament talking to us, and reading that verse earlier with God having a purpose, that we've been set aside for his purpose. And with Matthew saying this, I just love how he brings it to light and really says that this is for us. It says in chapter 7, verse 24 and 25, these words I speak to you are not incidental additions to your life, homeowner improvements to your standard of living. They are foundational words. Words to build a life on. So they're not just words that you can just, you know, just add if you want to, additions to your life. These are things that you need to build your life on. If you work these words into your life, you are like a smart carpenter who built his house on a solid rock. There's that song that even I will sing, you know, the wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built, you know, his house upon the rock. And the rain came down and the flood came up, and the house on the rock stood firm. Yep. But it said the rain poured down, the river flooded, a tornado hit, but nothing moved that house. It was fixed on the rock, because he built his life on those foundational things, the foundational words that he built his life on, and or his house on. And that's how we have to build our life, is on the solid rock of Jesus, so that we can have a firm foundation, so that when the storms of life come in our life and the tornadoes of life come, we can stand firm.
Yeah. And so let's get into we've got 3 things for you that will bring emotional stability to your life.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to have to just understand ahead of time, we're going to have to explain these points for you to fully understand. They're not necessarily super clear right off the bat. So just follow along with us here. But number 1 is this. We talked about foundations already. If you want emotional stability in your life, you need to have a foundation of relationships and connectedness.
So true. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah. See, what we've already talked about. What's the most important part of a house? It's the foundation.
Yeah.
It's the foundation, right? The longevity of any house is fully dependent on the foundation, because everything else is built on it. Your life, the foundation of your life, everything else is built upon it. So it is the most important part of your life, is the foundation. And if Jesus is a large part of that foundation, Jesus can't be the only part. He's clear about how we need other people, others, you know, relationships and connectedness. Jesus needs to be one of those relationships and being connected.
Yeah.
But also other people, other people that are followers of Jesus as well. See, for example, what if a baby has a problem? What do?
They cry.
They just cry. Like, they can't get anything for themselves. They're just a baby. They don't know how to do things. They can't go grocery shopping for themselves. If they got a problem, they can't solve it alone. They've got to rely on others, right? So I've got a couple other examples here. What if you've got a problem with your car, or with your washing machine, or there's...
Our washing machine's been making some crazy noises.
It
it's 14 years old, so I mean, she's been running strong, but... Ugh.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's getting up there in age. But what if you got a problem with your toilet, or your TV, or something is going wrong with your health? Like, you're probably not educated enough in all areas of life to be able to just isolate yourself and not worry about getting care or being taken
Yeah.
care of by someone else. You have to have a relationship, whether it's like a close friend relationship or like we have a relationship with our doctor. We trust them. We know that they know what they're talking about and that they're going to help us when we're sick or something's wrong, right? You need to have some form of relationship and being connected in that way. So we aren't moving or moving. We aren't having church in person, right? That's pretty obvious. We're not here in church all together, meeting together. But this is the point of home watch parties, right? We've been encouraging you for weeks now. Get involved in some sort of watch party, whether it's going to someone's house or finding someone and inviting them to watch church, be a part of church together with you in your house. Because relationships and connectedness matters. It's a foundational issue in our lives that if we can get it right, life will be so much better, so much easier to build our lives on. Now, there will be challenges at times, of course, but you can't live a full life that Jesus wants you to live without having that. And so, if you're struggling in your thought life, this one in particular gets a lot of people. You need somebody else to help you get new thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Philippians chapter 4, verses starting in verse 8 says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true and noble and right and pure, whatever is lovely and admirable, anything that's excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things, and the God of peace will be with you."
Yeah.
You can see so many of these qualities in the people that surround your life if you just look for it. And sometimes we're not inspired just by ourselves, by anything like ourselves. You need to have an external source to see. So look for noble pursuits in the world. Look for things that are excellent and praiseworthy. Look for things that are pure, and think about those things. Celebrate those things. Get those things in your life and in your thought life. It will help you so much. And so here's the encouragement. Connect with God every day. Connect with somebody else every day. At least one person, maybe multiples if you can. If you want to get some extra credit here, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 16 talks about the body of Christ, meaning the people, and how all the parts work together and all of them are important. So read that one, Ephesians 4:16, later on. If you want to go just a little bit deeper with this. But you being connected to other people and to Jesus matters. That is a foundation. It will help you achieve a little bit more emotional stability.
Yeah. And I love in that verse in Philippians when at the very, very beginning, the first thing to put the filter through when you're having those thoughts is whatever is true. If it's not true, it's not of God. Right. So if you can just, that first thing before you go into the noble, the right, the pure, whatever, is it true? Is this what God says about me? Is this what God says about my situation? If the answer is no, then take peace in the thought that it's not true. It's not right. You know, God has better things for you. God has things that are right and pure and lovely and admirable, and He wants you to have the best life ever. And so just that little nugget right there, that first part, whatever is true, if it's not true, it's not God.
And this truth we're talking about it cannot be based off of a human perspective.
No.
It just can't.
It's about God and His thoughts. Is this what God says?
A centralized truth that we can all believe in all at the same time.
Well, the second thing is the structure of purpose and routines. This is another way to have emotional stability in times like these, is to have that structure of purpose and routines. Routine, you either love it or you hate it. It has its place, okay, at times. I understand there's times to be spontaneous and stuff like that, but I love it. I love it. But
I like my routines.
But too much routine can be a problem, and too little can be a problem as well. So you got to find that balance of what it is. There are times when I am a little too routined, and I've got to break out of that. But I really feel like if we can do the best job that we can, there needs to be routine. Because if not, then nothing gets done. Everybody just kind of like whatever, and there's no, I have to meet with this person at this time, or this job needs to get done. If there's no deadlines, if there's no goals, it's a problem.
We miss details when we're out of a routine that we should be in.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is something I've had to deal with over the past couple of years. Is ultra routine. That's how I used to be. Is the inability to deal with curveballs, and that's something that was really hard for me, like changes in my schedule or changes, in the church when we were first starting and it was portable. Any changes, like when we come into the improv and there be changes, like that was really hard for me to deal with. But thank God we had an amazing team and we had Jesus behind us 100%, because Jesus and our team helped me to focus in and say, okay, there's a change, but what needs to be done? And no routine though. With like details and stuff, sometimes big ones get missed.
Yes.
The details get missed. Like I said, there has to be. Did you brush your teeth today, Ben?
I did.
Good, because if you
Because
didn't,
it's-
I would really not want you to breathe on me.
Right. That's part of my morning routine is brushing my teeth. Don't.
Exactly.
Did you miss brushing your teeth? Don't
Go.
admit it. Don't admit it to anybody. Just kind of
Keep your
quietly
mouth
excuse
closed
yourself.
until service is done, and then go. Because I don't want you to leave right now. But we need certain routines to be in place so that we can be healthy. We can take care of ourselves. Have you changed the oil in your car lately? We just did that. We did that.
Winning.
Have you put a new filter on your HVAC? We need to do that.
And light bulbs
Probably.
are coming on some of you right now. Oh, I
Oh,
haven't
have I
checked
done
that?
that?
one.
Yeah, just things that you need to. We don't even have that routinely like
Hardware
put.
store.
We need to do that.
Yeah.
Without routinely checking on things, we forget and big problems happen. And that's what we don't want to happen in our life. Routine can fuel your purpose. It's so true. Routine can
it can.
fuel. You want it to fuel your purpose, not put it in overdrive to where like you're steamrolling everybody else and nothing else matters. It's only your routine, but it needs to fuel your purpose. Keep it going. Purpose is why you're here. And what if you don't know your purpose today? I mean, to be thinking really of that, for just pausing for just a moment. Do you know your purpose? Do you know it today? What God has put you on this earth to do? Okay, well, let's read Proverbs 29:18 and see what it says for us. It says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And I still believe that today, even though this is an Old Testament verse, we still believe that today, though, because it's wisdom. Proverbs is full of wisdom, and it is really true, and we've seen that when there's no vision, if Pastor Ben and I quit pushing vision and quit pushing the reason why we're doing what we're doing, why we meet online every week, why we give to Feed Northline Kids, why we're helping people with groceries right now, if we don't keep pushing that and reminding you why we do these things, we're not going to survive. As a church, we won't be helping anybody in our community or overseas or anything. We have to keep pushing forward, and if there's no direction, we're wandering. It's just like the Israelites in the desert. They wandered for 40 years.
That's a long time.
For 40 years in the desert. That 40 years. And how big was the like square mile of where they walked?
If I remember right, you correct
Don't
me if
quote
I'm
us,
wrong. It
'cause I
might be
can't
like
remember.
40 square miles.
Yeah, it was
I
not
think
that
is all it was.
much.
It was tiny.
If that.
area.
This tiny area for 40 years. That is crazy. But they had no purpose.
Right.
They didn't know. They didn't understand why they were out there, and you feel like you lack, and you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how to, you know that there's something missing from your life, but you just don't really know what to do. And you have to discover your purpose so you can start making a difference.
Absolutely.
You have to do that, and if you don't, you're going to continue to wander, and that's not what we want for you.
Right, exactly. So number 3, this is the last one. Okay, the last one. I'll explain it in a minute. The beautifying of trust and self-control. Okay, the beautifying of trust and self-control. I'll explain, but first I want to read Proverbs chapter 3. We're going to start in verse 5, because these two things go hand in hand with each other. Okay, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he'll make your paths straight. So what I'm really talking about, and what I mean by this, is that you have to make trusting in God or trusting in someone else other than yourself and developing self-control, you have to make that a good thing in your mind.
Yeah.
Most of us don't feel like self-control is a great thing. Like, I don't want to practice that. I don't want to work on that because it can be kind of hard. It can feel limiting. But the reality is it's such a good thing, especially submitting to God when you don't understand or you don't agree.
Yeah.
You have got to make that a good thing. You've got to beautify that in your mind. You've got to trust God enough to know that he knows what's best for you, that he's trying to lead you down the best path for your life. even when you don't understand, even when you
Yeah.
don't agree, he's trying to work things out for you.
And obviously, this is really good to look at in Proverbs because we just talked about how it's chapters of wisdom. They obviously thought it was important for the Old Testament, but it's important for us today too because remember, God's nature doesn't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so these are words of wisdom that we can apply to our lives as well, of really submitting to God. Yeah, for what we're doing as well.
Yeah. So I've got some examples I want to run by you just to help you understand why it can be a good thing to trust. Okay, good things to trust. Number one, I don't understand how my car moves when I set my foot down on a little pedal and I push on it.
All the axles
Like,
and all that stuff.
I mean, I get it. I get that there's an engine and that there's a transmission and all this stuff. But I don't know how somebody came up with all the parts and put it all together and crafted it to the extent that all I got to do is just, and we go. Like, I don't understand. But I trust that when I put my foot down on the pedal, we're going to move.
It's going to go.
Right, I trust it. I know it's going to happen. Another one, I don't understand X-ray technology, right? But I do trust that a doctor can use it on me, or a dentist even can use it on me to help me be healed or to head
Find a
towards
problem or
better health.
something,
Right?
yeah.
I trust that it's going to work and that it's going to achieve good results for me. I don't understand how computers work. Like I maybe I know a little bit more than the average person because I have built a computer before just several years ago, but I don't understand how all the why does it need all these certain parts and if you've ever seen a motherboard from the inside of a computer and you set it down, it looks like a tiny city, just like all these little things and buildings and all this stuff. Who thought of all of this stuff? Every little piece matters. Without every little piece, nothing works.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't understand how computers work in that way and how everything fits together and who thought of all this stuff to make it work. But I do trust that it can help me work more efficiently, more effectively, accomplish more, do more, right? There are things I don't understand, but I trust that it's helping me and making my life better.
Yeah.
You need to get that perspective about God's stuff in your life.
Prayer, reading your
Prayer,
Bible,
yeah.
spending time with God, those things you got to trust that they're going to help. And sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like they're not working, but they are. The more time you put into things, the more you understand about computers, it's better, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
it makes
understand
things
it better.
easier.
It makes things easier. Your car, whatever, you're able to fix things better. That's how it is with God's help with the Bible and everything else. When you learn more about those things, the things that you learn, you can apply to your life to make it better and to fix things.
And submitting to God, that's something that we don't like to really talk about or do as people. We don't like to submit to anybody else. But the reality is submitting to God is going to put you on a path that's straight. It's going to be clear for you. We've got to beautify this in our minds. We've got to start trusting Him and get self-control to get on His path for us.
Yeah.
Because submitting to God, it's going to get your life headed in the best possible direction. Right, you're going to see all these new opportunities that you were missing before to improve the lives of people around you, to just make life better.
Yeah. And, I really believe, and especially in this time, we are in the need of emotional stability. We really, really are. And I think a lot of times we look for our emotional stability in other people and not in the way of having a connectedness or a relationship. We look at other people at fulfilling that for us.
As our foundation.
As our foundation, yes, exactly. And I mean, there have been times when with Pastor Ben and I's relationship as husband and wife, that is like, something's going on in my life and sometimes I want him to agree with me, and it justifies the fact of me thinking a certain thought, or it justifies the fact that I'm right in a certain situation. But God didn't put him on my life to justify things and to just be on my side in the way of, saying, yeah, you can act however you want to act. He put Ben in my life to challenge me. And that's the relationship that we talked about earlier, that connectedness to grow and to continue forward and to make my life better. And so don't try to find your emotional stability in other people in that way of like them producing the stability for you. Look for other people in the way of getting connected with them so that you guys can grow together.
Yeah.
That's how you
help
have to do
each
that.
other. Help each other. I help keep her on the straight path God's planned for her life. She does the same thing for me.
And we don't always like it. And it's not always easy, but we are thankful that God put us in each other's lives to help each other grow. You got to get the right people around you. That's the biggest thing, the right people around you, that relationships and the connectedness, having good routines that fuel the living out your purpose, building trust in God and submitting to his guidance. Those are things that you've really got to start in putting in play in your life. And don't wait. This summer could be the best summer ever. Yeah. And it's different and it's new, but it still could be the best spiritual summer you've ever seen. Don't waste it. Don't waste the extra time that you could have with God. Don't waste the extra time that you could spend building with people, even if it's over the phone. Like if you don't feel comfortable meeting for watch parties because you're an essential worker or you have somebody in your house that you need to protect or whatever, you can connect on the phone, connect through email, connect through mailing. Our HR kids have been connecting with some of our HR kid group leaders through mail, and it's wonderful. They love the mail because it's not electronic.
Kids love getting mail because they never get it.
No.
Mail with their name on it.
It's so cool. They get so excited. And so just be creative, be innovative in that connectedness, and starts with your relationship with God first, though. If you don't have a relationship with God, doing these other things, trying to have the good routines that fuel your purpose. If you don't know God or you're not living for him at this point, it's going to be really hard to fuel your purpose when you probably don't know what that purpose is because you're not living for God or building trust in God because you don't have a relationship with him and submitting to his guidance. It's going to be very tough for you. So today it starts with the relationship with God first.
Yeah. And maybe you're sitting there right there, maybe you've been a Christian before, been a Christian a long time, and you just feel like you're lost along life's path. If Jesus is not the central focus of your life, which helps you get a focus on what you're supposed to be doing in life, if you just don't feel like he's there, you can make that decision today to get him back to the center, to reprioritize, to focus back in. Maybe you're far from God today. Maybe you've never been a Christian, never been a follower of Jesus, never even been to a church physically, and you want Jesus maybe you got questions. We haven't answered every question, and you have some doubts, but listen, if you want to know what God's plan for you is, if you want to live God's best life for you, it starts with getting to know him first, connecting with him. Yeah. And so if you want some purpose in your life, if you want heaven to be your final destination, make a decision for Jesus today. Yeah. It's incredibly easy. I'm actually going to read off a prayer for you. I'm going to give you a prayer that you can use. You can take it and say it out to God, say it to Jesus, and then it's done. Yeah. Then that's step one of the rest of your life, a journey that's going to last till the end. And man, God, he's just going to lead you from step to step to step to step, and he's going to get you on that straight path that we talked about. Living life fulfilled. It's going to be incredible.
And the reason why we say pray this prayer, because it's basically just letting God know. It's basically just talking to God. That's what praying is, because prayer to some people is just like, oh, I'm not going to pray, but it's just talking to God, letting him know, I want to live for you, and I want you to lead my life. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. Just something simple.
So let's do it. Here we go. If this is you, if you need to make a decision for Jesus today, pray this prayer with me, just right alongside me. Do this. Say it, Jesus, I want to live for you. I believe you died on the cross for my sins.
Yes, Jesus.
Be my Lord. Amen. And if you said that to God today and you meant every word, amazing. What a great job. Thank you so much for taking that step. Heaven is in your future now. Yeah. And I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you for doing it. I know Heather is the same. But listen, if you made that decision for the first time or the first time in a long time, and you're an emoji kind of person, put the praise hands down. They look like this. Put the praise hands in the chat or in the comments. And if you don't like emojis or whatever's happening, it's not your thing, just type praise. We want to follow up with you. We want to connect with you and help you know what's the next step for you, because the next step isn't always clear. Yeah. Sometimes we just need help, and that's okay.
Yeah, and we want to get you connected to those relationships, the great people that you can start surrounding yourself with, that connectedness and the relationships, and start building that trust and things like that. That the first step was God. Now let's start moving on to the next step so we can follow up and get you connected. But this is a time where we just give you an opportunity, if you'd like to give to what God is doing through Happy Rock, which is the people. It's not the building, but it's the people, what He's doing through us. And we had the chance this last week to give groceries to a couple families that we were able to, and so your money is going to that for people in need that don't have toilet paper, that don't have groceries at all, have been calling and just saying, would it be okay if you brought some of those things to me? And because you give, we're able to do that. We're able to say, yeah, we have the money to be able to do that. And so your giving is touching lives, and we still need to purchase 50 boxes for our Feed Northland kids. So 50 more boxes for our goal. So we're going to be focusing on that this week. I would like to, by the, I think it's the 28th, I believe, or yeah, the 28th is a Sunday, or 29th, but I would like to really, really, really focus and have an announcement of we have bought the 200. So we have about 2 weeks to do that. And I think we could do it this week, but I'm just saying, I want to get this done before the end of June so we can start focusing on another goal and having something else that we're looking forward to. So let's continue to give. There's 2 ways that you can give. It's up on the screen right now for our P.O. Box or our website, and we just want to say thank you so much for your hearts, for others, and for what God is doing. And for those of you who have reoccurring giving, thank you for setting that up in such a unprecedented time for all of us, and in just a time of maybe not having a paycheck for a while or something like that, but you continue to trust God and leaned into Him. So we're very appreciative for that. So people are finding and follow Jesus every week. So thank you for doing all of that. We appreciate your heart very, very much.
Such a great thing.
Yeah.
Well, this is bringing us to the end of our service. So we've got just a couple things here. Make sure that you know. Join me tomorrow morning at 9:30. I'm still doing just a short, it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe tops. Just little encouragement to get you started for the week. And if you can't watch because you're working or whatever, it's going to be live. It's going to be a video on our Facebook page. So you can just go and check it out.
Just join in later.
At any time, it'll be on demand there.
Yeah.
And then we also are having worship nights. We just sing a couple songs together. It's 15 or 20 minutes, Wednesday nights at 7:30 p.m. on our Facebook channel, or Facebook page rather, not YouTube channel, but Facebook page only. There. And so, man, join us for those couple of times. If you just need a little bit of encouragement, you need a little pick-me-up, man, join us and utilize that stuff.
Yeah, and remember to like this video and share it immediately when we get done. Like it and or love it, whatever. Share it, because it reaches so many more people. We have been able to reach many more people. I don't even know the number, but many more people, because you keep sharing and liking. So even on YouTube, you can share and like this as well. So share and like this page. It takes 2 seconds. Like it, and then hit share and send it, and then it reaches more people, and you are being the church. So thank you for that. Remember, next week, Father's Day. We can't wait to celebrate with you guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you either tomorrow, Wednesday, or next Sunday. Have a great week, guys. See you later.
Bye.